Good day to everyone. So in the last video, I have given the brief introduction about the GNU plot and how to use the GNU plot to plot the basic figures. In that demonstration, I have used the commands, the plotting commands in the terminal, and the plot is actually plotted in the GNU plot environment. Now I am going to show you that how to create the figure files while suppose we are using the GNU script. So you can also use the GNU plot commands as a script file. So this script, once if you are running the script file, then you can actually create the figure files in your different figure formats like JPEG and EPS, PNG, whatever the format you like, you can do that. So I have explained the using of this GNU script with this different examples, and I have generated different types of figures and using the different plotting styles and plotting share. So suppose if you already return the script file, and if you want to generate convert the script file into the figure file, you have to run the script file using the GNU plot and the script file name with the extension of GNU. Okay, so the script file should be saved with the extension of .gnu, so that you can easily run it compile it with the command the GNU plot with the space GNU plot space the file name .gnu. So once if you enter this command in the terminal, in the GNU plot in the terminal, so you can easily convert the script file into the figure file. Okay, so to do this, you require the data file, which should have the corresponding data which you are going to plot in the plot. So this is the script file. This is the script file which is creating the corresponding plot. This is nothing but the time series plot. I have the data of this time series plot in the this data, the test1, and with the file name .dat, as well as I have another data which is in the another data file. So I am actually combining these two data in the single figure. So the other data is actually saved in the other different data file. Okay, so that is named as the file name .dat. So I can just explain what is actually the commands by line. So you have always taught the GNU plot script with the set command. Okay, so this set command is actually used to instruct the GNU plot compiler to say that you are actually giving the commands. That means, suppose if you want to write the labels and everything, and so you always have to use the set command. Okay, so the set the terminal with the, so suppose if you want to use the enhanced PostScript, that means the file extension should be an EPS file. So you can use the enhanced PostScript EPS with the enhanced color. So you can generate the figure with the gray code as well as the color code. Suppose if you are actually generating the figure in a color, then you have to mention it as a color. Otherwise, you can write it as a monochrome. So if instead of this color, if you write it as a monochrome, the equivalent monochrome for the whatever the color you are using will be converted. It should be used for the to create the black and white color figure with the default plus. That means the default font style is actually as a Times Roman, and the size of the fonts is fixed as a 40. So you can fix on your own whatever the file size, the different file data, font types, as well as the font size, you can fix it. Next, there is no order to keep the there is no particular order to keep the instructions. You can give it as your own by just giving the labels and everything in the you can just shuffle the commands. There is no the particular order. Okay, so I am saying that this script file, that means this figure file, is going to be saved in the corresponding file name with the EPS format. So once if you were required to plot the JPEG file in then you can use this JPEG or a PNG or whatever the TIFF file. Suppose if you want to make a TIFF file, then you can just give the extension, corresponding extension with the file name that is actually given with the command set output. So this set output is actually saying to the Gnuplot compiler that this file is actually going to be saved in this format with the corresponding extension. Okay, and so I will tell you what is the set no key after some time, and I am going to plot the border. That means the frame of the figure. I can just I can easily manipulate with this command set border with the different numbers is actually saying that. So what are the or how the sides of the figures look like. Suppose if you are using the number 3 1, then it is actually plotting the figure with the rectangle. All the sides are actually closed with the continuous lines, and the line type is actually a continuous one, which is actually given as command LT -1, and the width of the line is also mentioned here as a line width. Okay, suppose if in this figure you don't require this line and this line, only you are you want to plot the figure with like this, then you have to use the different numbers here, so that the appropriate numbers if you are using, then you can plot it with the corresponding the borders. Suppose if you are not required this border, suppose if you want to plot the only you require the two horizontal lines and you don't require the left and right vertical lines, then you can use the different numbers here instead of 31. So you can do that also. Okay, fine. So next you have to give the what is the labels. That means what is the X label and the Y label. So this is actually given, it can be given by the command set X label, and so if whatever you want to write it here, that can be written in here is a T. That means whatever you are writing with the curly braces, and means within the double quotes, and you can also give it as a the one means the font type you can mentioned here, because initially the whole figure I have mentioned as a Times Roman, but if I particularly need this the X label as well as Y label should be an italic, so I am actually using the Times -italic, and the size, the same size, whatever the size I suppose if you don't want to use the 40 size in the X labels, then you can easily change the size of the font or the size of the letter with the corresponding number. Sorry, not this one, corresponding number, and with the whatever you want to write with the X label, you can mention it here. I want this is a T, then you can just write it whatever you require, and then you can close the curly braces and the double quote, and the offset is actually explaining that where you want to write the corresponding the label. So I said that the x-axis is actually 0, and I just want to move the figure with the label is slightly in the upward direction, that means the positive x direction, sorry, positive y direction. So I can just set it as 0.5. If it is 0, then it is actually taken as the origin. Suppose if you want to move the label in the upside, that means upwards, then you can mention it as the positive value. Or if you want to move the value means the axis in the negative, means the downside, then you can mention it as a negative value here, the negative number. You can do that, and then similarly you can write the y label with the command set y label. Whatever you want to write it here, you can just give it here. So you can see this. I can use the x underscore max, that means the subscript I can write the max. So this subscript and the superscript also you can mention in the Gnuplot with the command that underscore is actually the, suppose whatever you are writing, for example x underscore within the curly braces, you are writing it as a max, then whatever you are writing inside the curly braces will be taken as a subscript. Suppose if you want to make it the superscript, then you have to use the command the power command, and you can write it as write it in the curly braces, whatever you are write it here, or if you want to just make x power 2, then it is actually as x squared. Okay, so I required it as a the subscript x underscore max, the x max. So I can write it as a x the underscore and the max, which is actually having the different size. So I require just change it as a 30 because I want to just take a difference between the main number and the subscript number. I have used the 0.8 with the dot. So that is actually mentioning that I want to print the dot by dot with the which is above the main text, the main letter with the distance of 0.8. Okay, that is what I have mentioned here with the 0.8. You can do that. Suppose if you want to write a special characters like a cap or whatever, then you can easily, or you can just want to use the tilt, everything you can do that. This is the corresponding command. Okay, so I have written the x label as well as the y label, and this y label is actually this is actually again the for the y label it is actually x axis as well as the y axis. So the y axis actually is 0, and the x axis, that means is 0.5, means I have to I just moved the label from the positive x direction. Suppose if you want to move this in the negative side, then you can use it as a negative number, so that you can just adjust the where you want to place the x label as well as the y label. You can mention it is the offset and the numbers, corresponding numbers you can give it. That means whatever the number, whatever the adjustment numbers. Okay, so then I want to plot the arrows. So you can also plot the arrows and the curved lines and everything. You can do that. So here I have plotted the around 7 arrows. So each arrow is actually having the different places, and it is actually pointing downwards. And with the filled arrow type, I mean the head of the arrow is actually filled. You can also plot a different type of arrows, whether you can want to this kind of arrow or a curved line, or you required a filled open arrow, open head, or with a closed head, closed head. Whatever you require, you can you can just give the appropriate command for that. You can easily find the commands for this in the Gnuplot demonstration the demos, or with the different the book, the Gnuplot book. You can find the different commands for the mentioning the different arrows. So here I have if the command set the arrow, I have given the different numbers because I have used different arrows. So each arrow is actually mentioned by the different label. So arrow 1, arrow 2, arrow 3. Suppose if you are using it the same name arrow, then it is actually plotting is only a single arrow, but the remaining arrows will be neglected because if focus of the match in the name, so that you have to mention different arrow names, and from where you should start the arrow, that means the starting value and the end value you have to write. So the starting value means the corresponding is the x value and y value. That means you are actually plotting the two-dimensional plot. So you have to first mentioning that what is the x axis, means this point, that is the corresponding x value as well as the y value that I have given here. This is my x value and this is the y value. So y value, you can see that is actually starting at the 2 and the around 62,720. That is where it is actually plotting. That means I think this is actually mentioned in this arrow, not this one. Okay, so you can just give it random whatever the where you want to place the arrow, then you can give the corresponding starting value of the x axis as well as y axis, and from that is and to the end values. That means where you have to end the arrow, the corresponding x value as well as y value. Similarly, suppose if you are taking this is the end value, then the corresponding x value and y value you have to give, so that it is actually plotting the it actually starting from this and ending here. It will plot the arrow with the head which actually downward, so that I can use the back with the filled. The filled means it's actually filled, the head is actually filled with the filled triangle. Or if you want to make it open, then you can access the filled back open, and the line color and the line type and the everything you can mention it here. So I just want to make it as a simple black color, so I can use the equivalent hexadecimal code for black color. Okay, So this is actually given, you can give it as a command, the line color with the RGB. That means this is a command which is actually mentioned, which used to mention the color name. Either you can use it as a color, exact color name, or the RGB values, or you can give the exact, the color codes, hexadecimal codes. These color codes can be find it in the net. That means so this 6 decimal value, 6-digit value 00000 means the first 2 digits actually mentioning the red value, and the second 2 digit actually mentioning the green value, and the last 2 digits mentioning the blue value. So if everything is 0, then it is actually mentioned that the black color. Suppose all the values as F, it means the hexadecimal value, then the equivalent color is actually the white color. So the different combinations of the RGB will give you the different colors. So this hexadecimal course is already freely available in the net. You can just download the documents. I can show you the one of the documents here. So you can see that this the hash followed by the 6F, which is actually showing the blue color with the white color, and so you can see here that the hash followed by the 6 zeros will give you the black color. The other combinations of 0 to F, the hexa codes will give you the different colors. The combination of different values will give you the combination of different red, green, blue values will give you the different color values. So you can just easily use this hex codes to match with me to plot the different colors. Okay, so you can directly just copy it and paste it here, and with the and you can also specify the arrow width of the arrow, the line of the width of the line width of the arrow, and the dash type. That means whether you require a solid line or a continuous line or a dotted line or arrow. So you can define it with the dash type. That is where which I already explained it how to plot the lines in the previous video. So you can use it as a solid. Then if it is, you can either mention with the corresponding number, or you can just mention it as the line, the word solid, which solid is actually giving this you can use in the solid line. Okay. Similarly, I can we can plotted the different arrows. That means around 7 arrows here. So each arrow is actually mentioned by the different places, the x-axis and y-axis, and only the x-axis and the y-axis changed. Okay. So I can also plot the label. That means suppose if you have multiple figures in a single figure, so if you want to mention it as a B, then you can also do that with the set label. That means set label. Similarly, suppose if you are using multiple labels in your plot, then you can again mention it as a different label names. That means you can just the first label is taken as a label, and the second label is taken as a label 2. So I can mention that I want to write it as a within the open and close parentheses to mentioning that this is a figure A. Okay, that you can do it with the corresponding the font type as well as the font size with the open and closed parentheses. Closed curly braces with the double quotes, and you can also mention the x and y values. Okay, that means the x-axis value and y-axis value. This x-axis value and y-axis value is actually defined by the corresponding data file. So wherever the corresponding number is actually mentioned in the data, that is actually you had to given, like the same with the same method you have followed for the x label and y label. So I want to plot this in here so that I can just mentioning that the 50,500 is the starting value of the point of the center point of the my label, and y-axis is actually around 3.0. So that if you are giving this value, then it actually plot give keep the label and the corresponding position. Okay. Similarly, I required another label, that is I want to use this as into 10 power 4, because whatever I have using this time series is actually 5, 6 and 7 are actually mentioning that 50,000, 60,000, 70, 80 and 90,000. So I just want to just want to give a very clean figure, so that I can just omitted the zeros, so I can just it is mentioned as a 5 into 10 power 4. Similarly, 6 into 10 power 4. So instead of writing into every value, instead of writing the values in the every value, so I can just commonly mention it as a the whole numbers into 10 power 4. You can mention it anywhere, so depending upon the requirement. So I have mentioned it as a label. So with the command label 2, the correspond. Suppose if you want to mention the special symbols, for example, alpha, beta, gamma, and whatever the symbols you required, if you want to mention it in your figure, again you can use it with the corresponding command called the front slash symbol. So however you wherever you are using the font with the different font types or font styles, similarly you can use the under the slash symbol with the corresponding symbol size, and the different numbers with the double backslash will give you the equivalent symbols for that. For example, suppose if I want to plot the times the multiplication symbol, then I have to use the 264. So similarly, like a color, the different hex codes we are using, this document, the symbols document is already available in the figure file, the internet. You can see this PDF file is actually having the corresponding numbers with the different symbols. For example, if I want the times symbol, so I have to use the 065, or you can use the whatever the symbols you require. Symbols. This is a symbol. This is actually symbol, and this is actually the different format. Suppose if you want to use the symbol, then you have to look into the S column. This is the second column where the symbol is mentioned. So it's probably mentioned somewhere. So you can use the, for example, the 264 is the corresponding the value for the symbol, the multiplication symbol. So you can use the 264 instead of, suppose if you want to make it as write the alpha value, beta value, then you can use the alpha equivalent symbol code for the alpha value is 141, and for beta it is actually 142. Similarly, you can see the different Greek words and the different symbols. So you can use the corresponding the number here with the different backslashes. Then you can write whatever you require. That means 10 power 4. That means, as I already told you, that you can write the subscript and superscript. So you can just write whatever the number with the power symbol, and within the open and closed curly braces, you can write whatever you require, and the corresponding position, that is the x-axis and y-axis. You can see that I have, this is actually going downwards, so I actually mentioned as a negative value. So if you want to keep your labels but wherever you require, you can just display it with the different numbers. Okay, well, okay. So and suppose as I already told you that if you are defaultly plotting with the different text level, then suppose it means the default text level, then it is actually showing that it is a 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, and so on. And you can also modify that with the set xtext. Suppose if you are writing at the set xtext with the corresponding number, the equal intervals which will be, you can mention it here. For example, you can see the set as y text as 1.0. That means every y difference is actually one within the difference of 1. It actually plotting the, printing the values from the each equal one interval of 1. Okay, so you can do that. Otherwise, you can customize your the text values in the command, like just open parenthesis within the double quote. You can write whatever the value you have to print there instead of the corresponding value. So you can just print this format. You can use this format to print the customized labels, text values in the x label as well as the y label. Sorry, in the x text as well as the y text. Suppose if you don't have the third dimension, then you can just put it as a set 0, set no z text, or you can just omit this command because you don't have the z value, the third dimension here. Okay, similarly this command is also not required here. Fine. So within the open and double quotes, whatever you are writing here, that will be printed in the corresponding the corresponding value of the which is mentioned here. Okay, so which is you can see here. And then suppose if you want to plot this figure with the different sizes you require, for example, I require this figure as a rectangle shape so that I can fix the size, set size as this is a this is a x-axis value and this is a y-axis value again. So you can mention it. Suppose it is you can just the x value is larger than y value, so that it is actually mentioned as a rectangle type of figure. Suppose if you want to make it as a square figure, then you can mention it as a equal numbers, almost equal numbers in the x-axis y-axis, so that you will get the square type figure. Okay. Also, you can suppose if you want to make it as a small figure or a big figure, then you can just change the number with a trial and error form. You can just run it, change the number, run the compile, run the script. Suppose if you are not satisfied with the size of the figure, then you can change the number. Then you can again run it and you can modify the size of the figure with the set size of the x-axis, the x value as well as the y, the x range, x value and y value. So finally, I want to plot the data, the two data files, this data file as well as this data file. The first data file I required to plot it with the line type of the continuous line with the line width of 1. So you can just modify it to whatever you required with the line type, whether it's a continuous line, dotted line, or a dot dashed line. You can mention the corresponding value. That means a number you can mention it here, so that it will plot the different line values, line types. Similarly, you can also fix the line width, as in the previous plot previous video I have explained. And also you can fix the x-axis value as well as y-axis value. Suppose if you want to suppose if you have a data which is having a large number of data files, suppose and if you want to particularly plot a specific section of the data, then you can mention the corresponding starting value of the x-axis and the end value of the x-axis, so that it is actually plotting the value of some 50,000 to 1 lakh. So you can just you can give the starting value of x-axis and ending value in the square bracket, and the another square bracket you have to mention the y-axis value. That means I just want to plot this plot within the starting value of 0 and ending value of 3.5. Okay, so this files is actually having the data of nearly around 3.0. However, if you just want to make it as a clear picture, I want to make it this figure as around with the 0 to 3.5, so that I can easily show the label which is not overlapping with the figure, the data and everything. So you can easily customize the x-axis and y-axis labels, as well as the size of the figure, and wherever which part of the data you have to plot, everything you can mention it. So after the plot command, before the data file, you are actually before the data file, so that you can just give the data file with the as usual line types and everything you can give it. And if you want to replot the another figure file, then you can either use it as a command as replot, or you can just mention it as which is the comma, and you can give the plot. This black slash is actually saying that this is actually a continuous line. I break the line, but this is actually a continuous line. You can see this here. This line is actually a continuous line, which is actually shown with the arrow mark. It shows that this is actually a single continuous line. But here I have purposely break the line because I just want to make it as a clear script file, so that I can use the backslash, which is actually mentioned this line is actually breaking with the other line. Okay, so this is also actually, you can either use a replot, or you can just continuously write it with the comma. Okay, so here also you can mention the different color values. You can using the RGB, the combination of red, green and blue with the LC line color. Either you can use as the full line color RGB, or otherwise you can use it as a LC. Both are fine. Okay, so either you can use with a WITH width, or you can just use the first alphabet W, and then the combination of colors with the line type and the line width, so that if you enter all the details, you can save it as GNU script, then you can plot the GNU plot. Okay, so this is how you can generate the script file with a different set of commands. So this is just a the demo file, demo script. You can also plot different based on the requirements. You can use the different commands, which is suppose if you want advanced level figures, then you can also do that. For example, if you want to mention the labels and everything, you can do that with the inside the figure. You can want to mention the insert figure. You can want to make the multiple figures in a single figure, or if you want to give the background color and giving the different parts as the different colors, everything you can do customize with the GNU plot script. But I just showing you the demonstrating you the simple basic plots with the basic instructions which we are giving. Okay, so this script actually plot this simple this script. So I almost took half an hour to explain a single figure and a single script. Just want to just clearly explain what is the instructions used to plot this figure. So I also have some of the other demo figures which I will explain in the next video. But I'm not going to explain it very elaborately because I already explained the basic things of the plots in this video itself. So the next video I will give you I will show you the different figures with the different styles, and I will also show you the corresponding script file, and I explain it briefly how to plot the different files. Okay, so thank you.